What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel this week. My name is Priscilla. I'm a Nigerian women's wear designer based in the UK. In this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the patterns for a high-waisted paper bag trouser design. I already have a video showing you how to make sort of the basic women's wear trouser patterns, and I'm going to link it on the screen and down below. So if you haven't seen that already, please go watch that first before you come back here, because what I did was I developed that basic trouser into this paper bag high-waisted design that I thought would be perfect for the fall. I mean, the cold is really here to stay, so we have to protect our legs and protect our sanity and just protect our well-being. So if you'd like to see how this pattern is made, make sure to keep on watching. Join the DIY fam if you haven't already. It's really simple and easy to do. All you have to do is subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell as well, so you'll be the very first to know whenever I have new videos on the channel every week. So if you'd like to see how I made this pattern, make sure to keep on watching. The next tutorial is going to be the sewing tutorial, so don't worry, I'm going to be going ahead to sew the trouser so you guys see how it turns out before you go ahead to either recreate it or try it out for yourself. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. The first thing you need to decide is the fit and the length for the trouser. If you already have a trouser pattern, you sort of have an idea of how you like your trouser to fit. You also need to go ahead and decide on the style of the paper bag design you want. I'm going to do a very basic one for this tutorial, which has an elasticated waist and sort of a frilly detail around the waistband. So these are the tools I'm going to be working with. I have my pen, marker pen, my paper scissors, some pins, my tape measure to take my measurements, and then I have my set square and pattern master, which is available to shop on the fabric.kimdave shop. I also have my basic trouser block, my front and my back, and we're going to be working with that for this project. So once these are all done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is I need to duplicate my trouser patterns, because I want to have a copy of the original and just have another version that I'm going to go ahead to use to sew my paper bag trouser. So I made some changes, and the first of them is I added a 3 centimeter hem allowance, and if you fold the hem in the way that you want it to be finished, you will see the direction in which the edges of the hem should go. So when you're making this particular hem, fold it the 2 centimeter and then fold it the 1, and then you mark the edges to see the point of the direction. I also squared out the hip width measurement so the waist is the same measurement as the hips, and that way when you add the elasticated waistband along the waistline, it cinches it back to your desired waist measurement. So I did the same for the front and I did the same for the back, and these are my duplicates here all ready to work with. These are the adjustments that I made to my trouser pattern, so we're just sure on what we'll be doing moving forward, and if you want to make the same differences on yours. And this is for a semi-fitted trouser design and an elasticated waistband with the paper bag detail around the top. So once that is all done, I'm going to go ahead and create my patch pocket on my front, and I'm just extending that mid dot vertical line downwards like this, and I'm going ahead to mark 24 centimeters or 9 inches down the side and just square it out to meet that mid dot line like this, because I want a squarish patch pocket. Next up, I'm marking 13 centimeters or 5 inches down the side, and then I'm marking 5 centimeters or 2 inches away from that mid dot line, and I'm connecting them diagonally like this, because I want my pocket opening to be a straight diagonal line like this, and I'm just drawing in a straight line into the 1 centimeter seam allowance and just adding any other necessary lines that I need. So this particular piece or point here is going to be our patch pocket, and we're going to trace this shape onto fresh pattern paper, add our seam allowance, and you would need to cut 2 pairs, so 1 pair for each side. The way to work is you would sew the outer side and the opening of the pockets closed, turn it inside out, press it flat, and then stitch it on top of your front on the left and on the right hand side, so you have your patch pockets there. So that I would show when I actually do the sewing tutorial, but the next thing I need to do now is make a waistband in which the elastic would pass through. So I'm just going in here to measure my front waist, and because we made the waistline wider, my new front waist is 30 centimeters or 9 inches, and I'm just going ahead to mark the width, which is 7 centimeters or 3 inches. So I'm just marking it across like so, marking my length and my width before going ahead to connect my dots, so I have an accurate rectangle. And I'm just using my set square here, aligning the midline to the edge of the paper, and then just drawing in the lines that I need. So I'm just going to go ahead and add my 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way across, because this particular panel here you would need to cut 2 pairs, 1 pair for each side of the front, which means you need to be able to connect the panels together. So once you've added all of your seam allowance, depending on which you like to work with, I'm going to repeat the same thing for the back. It's going to be the same width, so it's going to be 7 centimeters or 3 inches, but the back is 29 centimeters or 11.4 inches in terms of length. So I'm just going in to add my seam allowance, mark my length, and cut it out so I have the elasticated or like elastic channel for my front and my back panels for this paper bag design. I'm going to go in with my paper scissors and cut out my front and back elastic channel panels, and I would have 2 pieces like so. So I'm just going in with my pattern set square and my marker pen, and I'm just drawing in my grain line and to go in this direction. So you have your front pattern here, which is the elastic channel, and you have your back. They are fairly the same, the only difference is the length. So the next thing we need to make is the frill, which is what would create that paper bag detail around the top of that elastic channel. So this particular pattern is going to sit into the elastic channel, which would sit into the waistline of your trouser. So in terms of length, it would be the same, but the width would be different because I'm drawing the pattern in such a way that it would have a fold right through the middle. So the top of the frill or the top of the paper bag detail is on a fold and you don't have a seam there. So the width is going to be 13 centimeters or 5 inches, and I'm just going in to mark the midpoint, which is going to be the fold line, and I'm drawing it in so when I cut the fabric I know where to notch at the particular fold line, and I know where to fold this piece in half for the front and for the back. So I've drawn in my gray line, and you would need to cut 2 for this particular front. For the back you need to cut 2 as well, because you know the front has a left and a right hand side, and so does the back. So I'm just going ahead to repeat the same, marking the length, which is 29 centimeters or 11.4 inches. I'm just drawing in the width as well, which is 13 centimeters or 5 inches, and I'm just drawing in my lines using my set square and my pattern master, ensuring to also add my seam allowance all the way around the top, the sides, the bottom, and in the middle. So by the time we cut this particular piece open through the middle, you have a front and you have a back, and this is going to become the paper bag in quotes detail. So I'm going back in to add the seam allowance for this particular pattern here before going ahead to cut out my front and back frill pattern with a paper scissors. And once that is cut out, the patterns are complete. So these are the patterns for the front. You have three main sections for the front. You have this top piece that would be folded into the elastic channel, which the elastic channel would then be linked onto the waist of the front, which is then connected to the patch pockets. You also have your back pieces with your back main trouser, your back elastic channel, and your back frill detail, which sits into that elastic channel. The other two patterns that you might need, depending on your preference, is one for your long belt strap and two your belt hoops, which would be, you need about 2 in the front and 2 to 3 on the back. All of these I will do when I actually do the sewing tutorial. So if you guys enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment all of your suggestions, questions and thoughts down below, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.